Hi, everyone. I'm Leanne West, and I'm the president of iCAN. And today I have several of our iCAN youth members with us to tell us about their experiences with COVID, how they have been affected by COVID personally. I know we all have been, and so I'm sure we can all relate to their experiences as well. But I'm happy to have Andrea and Sarah and Maddie with us. And I'm going to let each of them introduce themselves really quickly.
Hello, my name is Andrea. I am 16 and I am from Illinois, Chicago. And I have pancreatitis, so that's why I usually go to the hospital, Lurie Children's.
How about Sarah?
Hey everyone, I'm 16 years old. I belong to Kids France, so I live in Lyon, and I do not follow any kind of treatment, and I am not ill, but my parents are health practitioners, so hospitals are an environment I'm pretty familiar with.
Great. How about you, Maddie?
Hi, so my name is Maddie Bertrand. I am 20 years old. I am a Kids Advisory Board alum member from the Chicago Hospital Lurie Children's. I have cystic fibrosis and had a double lung transplant this past August. And I'm receiving my care at the hospital of University of Pennsylvania. And as of this August, I will be transferring my care to Northwestern.
Great. All right. So what we all want to know is, how has COVID affected you? Andrea, how has it changed your day-to-day or maybe your care?
It really has impacted me with school and with my care. Because of the pancreatitis, I was actually supposed to travel for a new treatment to find a way to help improve my medical condition. But because of COVID, I wasn't able to travel to Cincinnati, Ohio. And we had our appointment canceled, and we had to be quarantined, and it was such drastic change from going to a regular life and then just being stuck at home.
Okay. And so with that, how did it change your health? I mean, was it okay that you have to wait to go to that treatment, or is it kind of a problem that you can't go?
It was sort of a middle ground. They were sort of worried because I had had some ultrasounds before, and they saw something in my pancreas that they thought might be problematic, but they weren't so sure. So it was a middle ground because we're still not sure what's going on.
Okay.
We are hoping that it's nothing that serious. So.
Yeah. And so from that, though, I can see that might be kind of stressful or make you worried. It has affected you kind of mentally, not being able to get the care, not really knowing what's going on. Sarah, how about you? Tell us how COVID has affected you.
Well, the biggest change was school-wise, as I had a pretty long commute before, and then I was basically at home for months on end, pretty suddenly. So that was a big change, and my parents being homeless was also something to get used to. My mom was always on the phone and planning things and getting work done. So that was the biggest change, I would say, and also not being able to see people and maintaining relationships through social media, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. So with your parents being medical professionals, how have they had to handle their home time with you? Are you all taking measures to not spread it if they happen to get it during their job?
Well, when the epidemic was at its worst in France, my mom would tell us to not hug her, to not kiss her, and managing our family time was a bit difficult, but my mom came to talk to us after things started dying down here in France, to tell us that, you know, she knows she wasn't there for a long time, but that she still cared, and it was extremely stressful for her, so we didn't hold it against her or anything.
Good. I know that must have been quite an adjustment. You know, everybody's been isolated at home, but at least you have your family with you. And in your case, your family even had to be isolated a little bit.
Yeah,
so I can see
definitely.
that would be a little problematic. All right, Maddie, how about you? How has COVID affected you?
So, as I said earlier, that I had a double lung transplant, and I was sent to Pennsylvania because the place that was going to do it here, I became too high risk and delisted me. I don't know if you want to cut that out or not. I just thought I would quickly give a little prequel.
Oh no, that's good.
So
Go
you
ahead.
can do with it. You can do with what you want with it. So I was there because they wanted me to do a full year of care. But when COVID hit, they thought I would be safer to go back to Chicago. They thought I'd be safer there. And so all of my appointments have been virtual, except for one when they had to get a bunch of testing done. So then I flew out there. But most of the testing has been, or most of the appointments have been virtual. And they're also because of the double lung transplant, because I became so sick, I was in the bed for weeks and became I atrophied a lot and lost tons of motion in my muscles, and had to gain that all back through physical therapy. But because of COVID, that all came to a screeching halt. So it's prevented me from progressing and being at a better place than I am now. But it's starting to pick up again. So yeah.
So with your virtual visits, how is that different than really going in person? Or was it really just the physical therapy that was halted? Did you feel like the virtual visits were just fine for what you needed?
The virtual visits for my help regarding my double lung transplant were fine. We still were able to do everything that needed to happen through the virtual visit. It was just the physical therapy that I felt like came to a screeching halt and was very difficult to do.
Yeah, so I would imagine that physical therapy is hard to do at home by yourself or with your parents, because did you have any equipment that maybe you couldn't use, or your mom didn't know how to help you? Why did physical therapy have to come to a halt?
Well, because of the amount of time I had spent in the bed for the transplant day, I developed a drop foot, which is where the foot, like the name suggests, it drops, and there's no motion in it. And so that was for physical therapy, getting that back and getting my walking gait back to normal and going up and down the stairs. Some of that I could do on my own, but a lot of the exercises, it just needed the physical therapies of the therapist's help. And we have a treadmill at home, that was given to us by a friend back before the transplant happened, but it's hard to use it, especially if you have a drop foot.
So through all of this, what have you all been doing to kind of cope with COVID? What kind of things, activities you've been doing that maybe have made this a little less stressful for you? Andrea, we'll let you start.
Well, I've totally submerged myself into my artwork. I have my sketchbook right here. I don't know if I can bring it and
Sure.
show it to you guys. Okay. So this is one of my drawings.
Really good.
Yeah. I've just really gotten into my art. I've also been writing poetry. I've also tried to connect with my friends over social media. It's quite different than being face-to-face, especially because most of my friends are introverts, so they don't really like to socialize online. It's better when I talk to them face-to-face. And then I've also been doing homework assignments, which is kind of totally different than being in a classroom. I kind of miss that atmosphere of our teachers making us laugh and teaching us stuff. But normally our classes are just silent, awkward silence. And it's quite different than regular life. So.
Okay. Sarah, how about you? What have you been doing to help kind of deal with COVID?
I think the most important thing for me was giving myself structure, because otherwise I would go to bed really late and then wake up whenever. So
That was my alarm.
I make sure to wake up early, to get some exercise throughout the day, to do some reading, and to not also to stay away from the news all the time, because it can be really tiring seeing negative things.
Absolutely.
Every second of the day. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Maddie, what kind of thing have you been doing to kind of keep yourself occupied during COVID?
Well, the day that I came home from Philadelphia, I went to my dad's house and there was a puppy. So that has been keeping me very occupied throughout this pandemic. By the way, she's a silver lab and her name is Marley. Very cute. Also for the past like 6 weeks, I have been doing summer school, which will end in about a week or so. For me, it's more like we're on the, I can't remember if we're on the 6th week or the 7th week. It's one of the two. But that's also been keeping me very busy because it's a full course in an accelerated time period. So it's keeping me on my toes.
I bet it is.
And then one other thing is that the beginning part of it, me and my friend would watch movies together, specifically the Spider-Man movies. We would FaceTime each other and act like we were in the same room and then pull it up on our laptops and watch it. And now, because of COVID being a little less intense and starting to open back up, I've been able to hang out with her a little bit more, but with a distance, we're being safe and cautious. So wearing masks and all that good stuff.
Yeah, good. So how much have you been able to get out of the house? I mean, are the rest of you finding that, you're still maybe able to see your friends at a distance, or have you really just been at home? Andrea?
I haven't been able to go out with friends, but I've gone out with family. And most of the time we go out with families to eat outside in restaurants because the restaurants are open and then you can eat in the edge outside. And it's been quite different. But I really still enjoy being with my family. Even though I can't see my friend, I understand why, because we have to distance ourselves. So
Good. Sarah, how about you?
Well, for 3 months in France, we could barely go out at all, and everything was pretty much closed. So, ever since the end of May and especially June, measures have started to loosen up. So I have been able to see some of my friends, which has been really nice, and to go out and stuff, which is a relief. But we're also being really careful. There's gel being handed out everywhere. You have to wear a mask whenever you're inside, and yeah.
Okay. And Maddie, I know your answer to that was kind of what triggered that question for everybody else. So what about, Maddie, you also mentioned school. What are y'all looking at for school in the fall? Does it look like you're going to go back, or do you think you're going to still be doing it from home? Do you know anything yet? Maddie, we'll start with you.
I definitely will be doing school because my life, because of transplant, has just been put to a halt. And so I'm like, I just have to keep going. Like, no pandemic can slow me down. Like, I just have to keep going because otherwise it'll just be forever before I can get to where I want to go. But I'm doing community college just so like this fall because I still have a little bit to learn about like handling my care on my own for my transplant like process, like all the medications and stuff like that. And so what CUD, the college, which is College of DuPage, is doing is they're doing most of the stuff virtually online, but then some stuff like if you have to do labs or different stuff like that, that will be done at the campus.
Okay. Andrea.
So for school here, I'm not sure for my school, but apparently we're supposed to go back in the fall. I'm a little worried though because my school is overpopulated, so it's not gonna be that safe. But I hope it's still online so we can take precautions while the COVID's still going on.
And does it make you a little bit nervous thinking, with your condition, is school, the thought of going back to school in person, a little bit scarier, or you're good with it?
I'm in the middle because my immune system is a bit down because of the condition I have. But I'm in the middle. I'm conflicted. I'm not sure how to feel about it.
Yeah. Okay. Sarah, how about you?
Well, in my school, they actually had a couple weeks to test out how they could organize themselves for next year. So they had students come in for like half days and only half the class would come and things like that. And they have a special plan for how to go around the school. So I do think I will be going back to school in September, but probably not full time. It'll probably be mixed between online and real life classes, but I'm not too worried because from what I've seen, they're handling it pretty well. And I've been to my school and I saw everything they put up. So I think they're doing a good job.
Good. Okay. So one last question. Is there anything else you want to add about your COVID experience that you want to share that maybe I didn't ask about? Maddie, how about you?
Andrea, you could go first. Let me think about it.
Go ahead, Andrea.
Okay, sorry. I was gonna say mental health has definitely impacted me during COVID, especially with anxiety. Just hearing the news all the time, COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19. It's really been stressing. And it got to the point that I was really getting sometimes anxiety attacks, but I was able to manage it eventually. I was able to talk to people and I got through it, and now I'm aware of like taking care of myself and having structure as well. Like Sarah said, structure is good during the life of quarantine because it really helps you improve your mental health. So.
Yeah, I think we've all been dealing with that for sure. Sarah, how about you?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Andrea, and I actually thought of the same thing because I feel like a lot of people have perhaps been suffering during quarantine, and though we may not see our friends and our family anymore, it's important to remember that we still have community. Though it may be online, we can still talk to people, and we're not completely isolated and by ourselves.
Yeah. Maddie, how about you?
Just for me, it was really hard, especially because for my transplant, it wasn't supposed to be away from home. It was supposed to be here, but because of circumstances, I had to go where, it would happen for me. And me needing to be there for like a year, like I was away from family, friends, and which was super difficult. But be able to come home a little bit early because of COVID was nice in a way because I get to see my family, but I couldn't see my friends who also had to come home, which was difficult for me from being away from everyone for, July, for 9 months.
Yeah.
It was hard just coming back and still not being able to like hang out with my best friend or seeing people from church that I know and different stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us today and sharing your stories with everybody. I really appreciate it. I'm sure there are many people in the audience who do as well. And we're really happy that everybody's still healthy and good. But so many things you all said we can all relate to. So thank you.